All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. Lovely snowy afternoon, in case you hadn't seen enough snow. So today we have with us Kay Novak, who is the Assistant Director of Learning at Front Range Community College, where they also have lots of snow. And Kay is the Assistant Director of Learning Design. Her expertise is in um, sorry, I just completely woo. Sorry, innovative
Phil,
pedagogical practices, educational technologies. She got her start with online learning as an online student success coordinator. And her research focuses primarily on learning design and technology. She also does a lot of presentations on learning design, educational technology, pedagogical innovation, leads faculty development in and an AI focused podcast, addresses assessment, data sovereignty, intellectual property, and emerging technologies. And the most important part of her bio, I've been informed, is that she is friends with the lovely Farah Banani. So thank you very much, Dr. Banani, for connecting us and making sure that Kay could be here to talk to us at ECC today. So, Kay, I will turn it over to you. Thank you.
hey everybody. I know some people obviously are probably trying to catch up and eating lunch while we're doing this, but feel free to get on mic anytime you want to. Put things in chat. So everybody, why don't you, because we don't have a lot of people. We have enough people that we can make this personal. So why don't you either get on mic or type in chat, you know, um, tell me what content area you teach, or um, let's start there. So tell me what content area you teach. And like I said, you can do mic and or you can do it in chat. Oh, and by the way, I'm from the East Coast. I talk fast. I don't mind if you talk over me. You know, the stick that gets passed around so that each person can talk. I don't have the patience for something like that. So go ahead and put it in chat. If not, I'll just start asking you.
Here, should I be the oddball? I'll be the oddball because I don't teach.
Okay,
Um,
please tell me what you
so
tell me why you're here.
why am I here? So I'm in the institutional research office, so we do
Cool.
all data reporting, survey research, all that kind of stuff. Um, the IR conference that we went to about a week ago,
Mm,
AI was everywhere.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I know AI through ChatGPT.
Hmm.
Um, I shouldn't admit this with some of my coworkers on the call, but I had some data. I had a huge,
Hmm.
and I swear, I had a huge ass data table.
Hmm.
And I had to send the email off to somebody in marketing. And I was like, man, okay, if I saw this table, I'd be like, well, that's great, Tanya, but I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing with this. So I actually threw the table in the chat GPT and I said, can you summarize this for me? And holy
Perfect.
hell, holy holy schmoly. That I mean, I had to
Yes.
you use it as in my mind, you use it as a thought partner, right?
Hmm.
I went through and I double checked the data. I went through and I made sure that the assumptions or the percentages that were provided were accurate. But so I'm just kind of dabbling into the AI world,
Hmm.
and just I'm super curious. Here's my fun fact, and then I'll shut up.
Okay. No,
My
keep going.
my dad had gotten into ChatGPT way before I did because it was
Hmm.
like I Google everything. And Dad was like, "Oh yeah." Dad was diagnosed with Parkinson's a couple of years ago. So Dad's first prompt to ChatGPT was to create a soliloquy on Parkinson's.
Ooh.
And he chuckled because the first line was to shake or not to shake, that is the question. So it's humorous, but it's I've used ChatGPT in my personal world,
Hmm.
but it's interesting to bring it into the professional world. So then it got me thinking about classes. So that's me.
Okay, that's great.
I'll be
And I will
quiet.
tell you, I'm on like this core team with the director of institutional research
Yeah.
for how we're going to use AI in our
Mhm.
class. Now, everybody who listened to Tanya's example, that is a great example that if you teach something like that, if you're a quant jock and you teach numbers and
Yep.
spreadsheets, and by the way, I teach, one of the things I teach is marketing, and I have to deal with my finance and accounting people in a marketing class, and I and I tell them, you have to be able to talk to the marketers. You have to be able to do these things with them. So that is a great example of someone who is primarily, talks in numbers and quant to move it over to talk to someone who's more qualitative. Excellent, Tanya. Thank you, thank
Awesome.
you. Who would like to go next?
I can jump in. Hey,
Please.
everyone. I think I know most of these faces. I'm Liddy Hope. I'm a professor in human services.
Hmm.
Um, and I am really curious about how AI is being used to do documentation in social services and therapy and those
Hmm.
spaces. Um, I'm not seeing it in my specific classrooms yet.
Hmm.
And to build off what Tanya said,
Yeah.
last semester I taught an applied research methods class, and we
Hmm.
used it and encouraged the students to use it as a thought partner. So that's how we
Hmm.
generated ideas. That's how we connected ideas. That's how we fixed some phrasing and those sorts of things. And it was really helpful there. Um, there's a gap between that class and what I teach, usually. So I'm
Hmm.
curious about that.
And I will say, like Tanya had mentioned, like every conference you're going to now, there were so many AI sessions.
Mhm.
In my state in Colorado, we by the way, you're all invited. Farah can send you the information, but you're all invited to our free and virtual conference we do every year in April. We decided on three tracks: AI, track one, track two, non-AI. And then track three, wild card. But there are so many AI sessions out there. Find the ones that work for you. And especially in human services, any industry sessions, see how they're using it. Once upon a time, I worked in medical records where we'd have to deliver files to the floors hospital, but I can see a I can see a lot being automated with case management and things like that. Okay, who'd like to go next?
I'm happy to go. I'm Katie Rowe. I serve as the Associate Dean within the Liberal Visual and Performing Arts Department here at ECC.
Mm-hmm.
My background is in art and design. So I
Mm-hmm.
taught both just foundation design, and then I'm a bookmaker, printmaker, and I love to draw and paint. Um, so I'm here I'm curious within this conversation to understand both in a pedagogical application and
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
equipping and our students both within general education, liberal arts disciplines,
Mm-hmm.
along with the art and design piece, like how we are going to be utilizing these tools, especially within art and design. The big behemoth of Adobe has already integrated
Mm-hmm.
AI prompt writing within the programs. And within the last Adobe Max conference that just kicked off a month or so ago, they even featured more of this surge that's coming into the tools and process. So from the design standpoint, it's already there. We need to start informing our practices and what we're enabling our students to be able to be equipped to do once they leave us or they transfer on. Um, but also how do we prepare students to engage and use this as a thought partner and tool? But I'm also here to support faculty members who are either blindsided and bewildered or are
Mm-hmm.
very excited about, well, how can I get my hands on this? And to provide guidance and how one can easily integrate or use or utilize resources here at ECC. But also, we all want to put stuff in, like what Tanya was saying, and get it to see what the opportunities are, but understanding the guardrails, ethical practices, and have an understanding of, how should we be using these tools thoughtfully.
Okay, so you should know, I teach in the business and creative industries program. We have a new bachelor's program with that.
Oh, great.
Um, yeah, so I teach design thinking, teach project management,
Mhm.
um, and having talked with lots of others, like, and everybody can giggle when I say this, the Ringling College out of Florida, yes, they were started by the by the Ringling Circus. They're the ones that I think are on the front edge of it when it comes to thinking about how art and writers and think and the creative industries, how they take care of integrating AI. And I'll leave a link. They have like a 4D process that I think is just wonderful
Mm.
for those kind of designs. But that is something that anybody who supervises, or even if it's the person right next door to you in the office, yeah, it's a continuum. There's some people who don't want to, there's some instructors who don't want to teach, touch AI, and there's some instructors who are going full force with AI. And I hate to say this, but they're not even, they're kind of doing shadow AI work. They're not even necessarily telling everybody how much AI they're using. So in your position, I can see that you're going to be talking to a full range of people when it comes to it.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to throw this out here because it is the arts. We're seeing something that there are some conscientious objectors
Yes.
when it comes to students who do not want to use AI whatsoever. I had a big talk with our University of Colorado person who teaches writing, and he's like, "Oh, all my students love it," and I'm like, "Really? My students don't love it." I have students who don't want to use it no matter what. And I'll talk a little bit more. I'll go into what I'm doing, at least in some of the courses, and I have some other people are picking up on it. So who else?
So good afternoon. My name's Larry Osmussen.
Mhm.
I work in the SBCT department, specifically an adjunct professor teaching supply chain courses.
Okay.
Um, I really didn't start using AI, specifically ChatGPT,
Hmm.
until about 6 months ago or so. Um, Taught my first course this semester with a paper in it, so I had to get familiar with it, at least from the ethical uses and so on very quickly this semester. But looking forward, and this is the third AI um, opportunity to sit with someone this semester, and just to how do we make our course offerings and what we're teaching the students relative and current, because teaching, just like in the business world, AI is not necessarily going to replace people, but people who use AI could be replacing people who don't.
Okay, I'm going to say one thing real quickly for you. Have you listened to the podcast Beyond the Prompt?
No.
Okay. uh, Go ahead and take a look at it. I was pretty sure they even have supply chain people in it. It's one of the more popular business AIs, and I'm pretty sure I am so pretty sure that they have supply chains on there too. So and what they do is they usually interview CEOs and and ask them how their company has been adapting since, the advent of AI being so out there for everyone to use. Okay, Heather doesn't have to introduce herself. I already know Farah. Let's
I
see.
I can go.
Yes, please.
I have I'm Lori, just working in the ophthalmic technician program.
Mm,
I'm the instructor for that relatively new program, and I haven't really been using AI. I'm just starting to get into it, so I'm
hmm
just kind of curious what other people are doing with it and um, all of that type of a situation. So I don't have a lot of experience with it.
No, that's okay. Look at your industry things and see how they're see how they're using that. I'm somebody who I can't even wear contacts because I don't like touching my eye. So I don't have any great recommendations for you just yet. And do we have one more person? Um,
I think we have Marsha, maybe.
Marsha, yeah, Marsha.
if you'd like to introduce yourself, if not, you can put it in chat. More or less, I'm just trying to get an idea of your content area. And also, here's the thing. So you might already know each other, but you might not know that that the other person is also AI curious. Okay? Because talking with peers is something that at my college we've found works really, really well. And
Okay, so I'm Marshall Uptack. I'm the Associate Dean of Adult Education,
okay.
and we are looking at how to integrate some AI skills into our coursework so that our
Hmm.
students are prepared for jobs in the future. I also have heavily leverage it as a thought partner, and when we're working on curriculum, like, okay, what's an idea for this? So I've used it pretty extensively the last year.
Hmm. No, okay. Perfect. It's great. It's great to hear that you're using it. Um, and when I'm discussing some things, feel free to chime in because I'm gonna say some words and some things that you already know because you do adult education. And I also wanted to say, um, like I said, I'm working and we've developed a whole new program, Business in the Creative Industries. And started developing it like 2 years ago. And our director had to take some medical leave. And she came back and she's like, "Oh, well, do you think we should have a module in each of the courses?" And I'm like, "No, every module has to think about how it needs to change because of AI." So this is supposed to be considering considerations before using AI in the class. I thought some of you might actually be using it already, which you are, so that works out perfectly. So consider this a discussion, okay? Because that's how I built it. So here's what I am at my college. I'm at a community college right outside of Denver. If you know Colorado at all, we're North Denver, and then we go to the Wyoming border. We're Front Range Community College. So we got rural, we got urban, we got suburban, all of that at our college. And we have about I think right now about 13,000 students. And we're part of a bigger system of 13 colleges. And in the last 3 weeks, I got to call just about every college, somebody at every college, and go, "What are you doing for your faculty development?" Because we applied for a FIPSI grant. I don't know if everybody was aware of this, but out from the Department of Education, they gave a 3-week turnaround time for an AI grant. And our college decided to go ahead and go for it. So at my college, I'm on the AI core team. This is a team of 6 who are investigating, developing things, and generally seeing how our college is going to deal with AI. We do not have an AI policy. We want one, but at this point in time, we do not have an AI policy. We are not prohibiting people from using AI. When it comes to the students using AI, we've left it entirely up to the individual instructor to make decisions on how much, how much or how little you want your students to use AI. And then I'm part of a larger 23-person group AI support and advancement program. It's called ASAP. And then I'm leading the group in that's testing, reviewing, and championing resources team. So this is the charge we got. Research develop. Fine AI resource value rubrics based on data sovereignty, student privacy, and bias protections. And then at the end of it, they said, "Oh, and price point." At the end. So, what I'm gonna pull up first is last month, Fra and I, what we did was we ran National Distance Learning Week, which had over 1,000 people. A lot of our sessions had 300 people in them, and we started out each of the 5 days with what we called the Daily Show, and it was a parody. That's how come I can call it the Daily Show. It was a parody of the Daily Show, and we asked a lot of and we asked some like questions about it. And I'm just going to show you some images and some of the questions. And I'm going to throw a term out there, and you tell me whether or not you've been hearing this or not. Um, Cognitive offloading. Has that been a term? Yes, I see. I see some people agree. Cognitive offloading. Okay. Um, and that's kind of what I wanted to say, is that we're all making decisions about personally what cognitive offloading we want to do, what cognitive offloading we want our students to do. So this is my example of cognitive offloading. When I have to design something, I can take hours to do it, and I just want it perfect. But like for me, if I use Adobe Firefly AI to make lots of images, and the reason I do it is because it's a cognitive offload. Because if I was to do it myself, I would continually tweak it, redo it. I wouldn't be happy with it. If I can say that AI did that image, for some reason, for me, it's responsibility for the design. And I know that sounds bad, but at the same time, this is a cognitive offload for me. Okay, so we asked some questions at this, like, what is the most massively useful thing an educator can have in a state of AI disequilibrium? Oh, and by the way, our theme was Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So, how many people have read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Just type in what? Yes, thank you. You can go ahead and type in Y in the chat if you want to, or N for no, Y for yes, N for no. But we went ahead and we used this theme. I'm seeing some ones. Yes, Larry, it's it's okay. The questions are still good if you haven't seen it. You know, like, what is the most massively useful thing an educator can have? And this is what came out of our big surveys: a sense of curiosity, an open mind. This person got into it more, a lead, ever slight in development. Okay, this was a Colorado person who answered, and it was like, you don't have to outrun the bear, you just have to outrun the other food sources. So that was theirs. So for this, what I wanted you to go ahead, and you could get on mic, or you could go ahead and just put it into chat. What are your concerns? I know the title was what considerations, but right now, what are your concerns about AI? And I mentioned cognitive offloading. That's one of my concerns. I showed you of how I'm okay with cognitive offloading when it comes to those kind of images. But one of my concerns is for my students, what if they're using AI? What are they going to what are they going to offload? Oh, I see a misunderstanding of what it is, what it does, and what it can't do. Oh, in a meeting yesterday with that core group, serious discussion on there's enough, AI has been around for enough for people to have a total misunderstanding of it. So I completely understand why you put that. Anybody else? What other concerns do you have? Oh, Liddy, learning a new skill set, when and how to do it thoughtfully. Yes, that's the thing with every single administrator, every single faculty, and even the students. It is a new skill set. Ethical considerations and bias. Yes, that happens every time we look at a new technology, but this one, you know, we we can corrupt our own chat GPT so that it's biased. And as one of my friends, Cynthia Clone, she teaches computer science at Colorado Technical University. She said, what she says about AI, she's like, generative AI is your friend who lies to you. So you know that friend that you can't take when you're trying on clothes because they're too nice and they will tell you everything looks fine? That is ChatGPT. It wants to please you, okay? AI, unless you have done some work with it, its whole consideration is how's it gonna please you? Okay, so we'll just go through some other quick quotes here about like, oh, what do people need? Perspective to unsummarize my summary. But basically, this was someone who is a big Hitchhiker's to Guide to the Galaxy geek. We now have amazing tools that are even better than digital watches. And how are we spending our time? Doing busy work. Let's get creative. We need some perspective. This was from a writing. This was from a writing professor. Um, Others, communication, collaboration, creativity, information. A good attitude, curiosity, open-minded, caution, patience, resilience. I'm hearing these things from all of you. I think you might have to remind your students too about these things. And at National Distance Learning Week, like what I have here is I pulled the answers that were either, you know, that went into a lot of detail or were showing up again and again. Curiosity. How does AI work? What are the biases? Who is advantaged? Who isn't? How does this technology reinforce hetero, cis normative white supremacy, colonism, and ableism? And and by the way, if you're worrying about those, feel free to read bell hooks. Some of that terminology is taken straight from there. Are there intersectional differences in use, utility, and access? And there definitely can be. Like, I'm going to use Farah's son as an example. Farah, didn't you at one point pay for him to have Grammarly?
Yes, Penn State it was recommended the first year. Yes.
Yeah, so I mean the thing about it is it's depending on who your students are. I have students who that having to pay, say, for their own Grammarly would be a struggle for them, who struggle with books. Um, the towel, metaphorically speaking. I'm just gonna go quick with this, but basically it's don't panic, resources and support. This is one particular person that we know from Wisconsin who put this in a lot of things. Stop being the blacksmith of the AI age. So get there. Open mind, interest in solving problems. And then 6-7. Someone put this in my survey, okay? Everyone has been okay. Has everyone here felt the impact of 6-7? Ah, okay. I'm I'm just pulling up another one of my cognitive offloads, but the next question, what questions do you want answered? And they were, how do faculty move forward? Someone gave me that. How can AI teach us to be more humanly, more deeply and designed for belonging? How are other institutions aligning AI literacy with critical thinking and workforce readiness? Okay, yes, Heather, 6-7 came up. Okay. How are institutions aligning AI literacy with critical thinking and workforce readiness? I'm sorry to say, you are going to have to do the work with the workforce readiness because every conference, everything I have been in since the start of the academic year, whenever anybody from the creative industries or design, we ask them, what AI are you using? They're going, well, can you tell us what AI we should have? Our new hires using? Can you tell us what you think the AI should be? And this is not just business and creative industries, but like across the board. We have advisory boards who you're getting a little bit of information, but then you'll have people on the advisory board who are saying, can you help us with that? We're trying to figure that out too. So this is where you're gonna have to do the work. You're gonna have to do the work to find out in your particular area what workforce wants and what they want in your area. Um, how to use AI ethically and without making people feel their jobs are being replaced. Okay, for my community college, my students aren't feeling that so much, but just right up the road and the University of Colorado Boulder, the 4-year flagship state school Research One, they are having serious problems getting their students with the prestigious 4-year degrees to even get internships. They are having problems getting their students to get internships. Think about that. Unpaid internships because people around the area are replacing, aren't doing new hires that they want to train up. They're seeing how AI can replace things. There is like this, they're calling it, and I think Forbes has it like the great freeze, like freeze in hiring, that the students aren't necessarily finding the jobs after the 4-year degrees. Like I said, it's not happening as much at my community college, but at the 4-year college, it is. Directions to restaurant. No. How do we take AI as an advantage and not a threat? For me, this is huge. I'm learning design. As far as I'm concerned, the floor of what good online learning was has been raised. Okay, it's been raised up to here, and now maybe we'll get a chance to raise it even higher. Okay, so whatever you can do using, say, Notebook LM or a different AI to build. And the other one I'm going to throw out there for you is Boodlebox. We're using that loads at our institution. You can get a free account. It won't do everything, but it'll help you. We love Notebook LM. We love Boodlebox. We also like something called Mindsmith. Mindsmith is free. There's some limitations on it, but here's the thing. We're the kind of college, because we're a community college, that we're if our technology budget was like a tube of toothpaste, we squeeze everything out of it using every free tool that we can to use it. Okay, balancing expectation with the challenges of guiding students and faculty through ethical use. Talk about ethical use some more. And then this was the third phase, meaning, hey, can't we adopt it and keep elevating? That's pretty much. And then somebody else put 6, 7 into one of the other. just just and Tanya, thank you. Notebook LM and Boodlebox were mentioned at the Institutional Research Conference. Yeah, Boodlebox is what we have 5 community colleges who have adopted Boodlebox. Okay, and like I said, the past 3 weeks I've been calling everybody at teaching learning centers and anybody else who would talk to me. But the people who have Boodlebox are going, but it doesn't do what Notebook LM does. And then there's a lot of little, and then there's lots of little like things. There's lots of little things to add there, and I'm just gonna throw this out. There's lots of little AI tools that you can go ahead and take a look at. Um, I went to a session yesterday with something called Snorkel. No E with the snorkel. Um, but it's a way for your students to record themselves and do think out louds. You know how math a lot of times have students do think out louds where they explain how they've gotten the problem. Snorkel allows you to not only to put in math problems but other things, and then it'll go ahead and grade it, do AI grading. I have I have conflicted views about AI grading, but I like Snorkel at least to go, hey, this is a way that, you know, a student isn't using Comet Perplexity to take a multiple choice test. I'm like going, I can use this, you know, and other people can use it, having their students, you know, actually make the recordings of it, explaining how they're doing things. Okay, so just went through all that back to that. Um, we've already talked about your concerns. I just wanted you to keep that in your mind. And again, some of more of my cognitive offloading, and we'll get into this. Okay. Now, when I was given the title, I really went, what should you consider before you start in class? Well, content area. You've already mentioned what your content area is. The next part, what AI is being used outside your class? So what is the industry? What is the workplace using? Um, I mean, having Tanya here was a great, awesome example. And I'm sorry, I'm going to call her a quant jock, but people who deal with numbers, loads of spreadsheets, how are they finding that they can now easily talk to people who do not think in those methods? Um, so start talking to people, especially people inside your field. I hate to say this, but Data Jedi, yeah, I'm mixed methodologies. So I'm big qual, little quant. So yes, I call people who all go all in on quantitative, you know, numbers and data. I call them quant jocks. Yes. Okay. So talk to people. Just start making that a part of conversation. Hey, how are you using AI? You know, like, oh, did you hear of any good AI tools? I mean, when I talked to Heather, you know, like when Heather and I jumped on to this call, you know, Heather's like, how's the weather? Okay, forget that from now on. Say, hey, what AI are you using? Oh, have you learned about any new AI tools? Okay, I'm not the best at small talk, but I'm doing that with everybody I meet. But before we leave the meeting, you know, it could be on something completely different. I add, hey, what are you using any AI right now? And if it's and if it's an instructor or a faculty who I'm doing a consult with, I'm like, would you like to hear about some AI? I think I got something good for you. So Heather, that's how I'm doing part of the faculty development, that it just shows up. Okay, how do you want to integrate it into your class? That's what you start thinking about. I mean, you can just use it to help you design things. You know, thumbs up, you you're going to elevate your class, you know, you're going to elevate your class by just using it. But how do you want to integrate it into your class? When you look at your modules, okay, or when you think of how you're going to teach in class that day, how has it changed from like 5 years ago? Are people, when they're teaching, when they're talking about this, are they now using AI? I'm sorry to say, but you're going to have to do that AI check. If you want to do good for your students, you're going to have to do that AI check. And I'm going to say for design, for design classes and art classes, your AI check might be a little different. For a course for a course that I'm teaching for business in the creative industries, I have a lot of conscientious objectors. I divided up some group projects. Some people are making a bot for a podcast. These are the people who are totally fine with these are the people who are totally fine with using AI. On the other side, the students who do not want to use AI, the project I'm having them do is coming up with a list of all the unions in the creative industries. They have to make a spreadsheet of what the unions are, what they are publicly saying about AI, and then has it been put into any kind of memorandum or any kind of bargaining that they've done. And your college is a union shop, right? Okay, okay. Sorry, I'm in a right to work state, so the union thing is a little bit like what? Um, but like I said, I'm from the East Coast, so I grew up in a union town, so nothing new to me. But that's what you might be, how you might have to integrate it into your class. Perhaps it's like your students don't want to use AI, but they should know about AI, right? The students who are creative writers don't want to use AI to write, but you know, the the Writers Guild came out with a memorandum and very specific discussion on what should be considered for screenwriting and what shouldn't be considered screenwriting for AI. Your students should know that. So even if that integration isn't them using the AI tool, they should know how the AI tool can be used. The next one. Okay, my adult education person. Here's what here's what I want you to think about. I am at a college where everybody says pedagogy, right? Okay, the college down south, 20 miles from me, the Community College of Denver, no one says pedagogy. Everybody says andragogy, okay? Everybody goes, we are not teaching children. Okay, so these are some of the discussions that you have to think about. Pedagogy. Okay, if you're teaching a concurrent enrollment, I'll allow it. Okay, if everybody in your department uses the term pedagogy, okay, I'll allow it. Okay, but if not, if you're over in adult education, it's andragogy. And it is different than pedagogy. It is more self-directed. Okay, now also want you to start thinking about hudagogy. Okay, so everybody here knows what hudagogy is, right? You can look it up, it's fine. And the browser that I suggest you use is Comet Perplexity because that's my favorite. Okay, I like it way better. I like it way better than Google because, yeah, because Google at this point in time gives you an AI summary and then tells you what Reddit says. Okay, so I use Comet Perplexity, but hudagogy. Okay.
Because of the training on Reddit, information.
Yeah, yes, because of that. Okay, so hudagogy. I'm gonna pull a couple examples. Anybody here ever watched that TV series from about 10 years ago, maybe called Elementary, where like there was a Sherlock Holmes in New York City? Okay. He often said that someone was autodidactic and also how he would just study things. He would just study things when he was solving crimes. He'd study it, he'd focus it, it'd be totally self-directed learning. So that's what hudagogy is. It's autodidactic, it's self-directed learning. And I mean, not like, oh, I'm in this class and I get to choose with some adaptive learning. No, it's going out and going like, I'm going to become a moth specialist because there was a moth on the crime scene, and that crime, if I know what the moth is, then I'll be able to solve the crime. But the reason I put it in here is we have to start thinking about that because a lot of AI that's coming up is coming with adaptive learning where students will be able to make choices in navigation. Notebook LM gives not only you the ability to redo the content in audio or video or make it a presentation, it will also, if your students are using it, they will be able to adapt that content. So we really need to start thinking about hudagogy and Are there assignments that we should consider that giving very open spaces for them? I heard thought partner 3 times when people were talking about AI. Pedagogy with AI as a thought partner, something that could really happen. Okay, throwing this up, and then I realize what time it is, so I'm going to go way faster. This is my favorite workforce literacy literacy. Okay. It's from the New Jersey Institute of Technology. They have a phenomenal PhD program in educational technology. Unless you have a degree in educational technology, you don't know this. Or ChatGPT might. I don't know. But if you look here, data literacy, digital literacy, AI intelligence literacy. And then on the other side, this adaptive competency, agile thinking, resource optimization, change navigation. This is one of my favorite frameworks out there about how we have to start thinking about bringing in AI. Gonna go a little quicker. We already talked about the OGs. I'm going to tell you some quick assignments that we've done. We've used open pedagogy. What open pedagogy is you get the students to do the work. It's part of the 5 R's when it comes to open educational resources: retain, reuse, revise, remix, redistribute. I'm going to skip some things. This is one of my colleagues. He started this in 2023. He started having his students write books with the help of AI. This one, like savvy writing. It's on a Google document. Okay. And I'll put a link at the end to this and to the slideshow, which has the link too. The other thing is a book of arguments. AI helped the students be able to write the books within the semester. They picked different parts, they co-wrote, they made decisions on where to bring in AI in and where not to bring AI in. We've also had a similar project in our hospitality classes where the instructor started the AI prompt in ChatGPT to make a human resources guidebook for the hospitality supervisor. And then she gave them what ChatGPT did and said, you need to modify this. Yes, the cognitive offloading was they didn't have to start the book, but they had to finish the handbook. Let's see. I'll go just some quotes from students. This is our favorite one. Education's always been subject to change. This is what happens. And AI cheating or enhancement. These were from the students who wrote the books. And this was a student. It's there to amplify. I am going to skip through other things. I'm going to show you some in one of our business courses, we wanted to time to see how long it would take students to create something using AI. This was a scenario. We had a video instruction from one of the instructors where they had to decide, on choosing one of these things. Okay, and so they went in, they were only allowed to do it for 10 minutes. They were told 10 minutes, no more. Want to see from an efficiency standpoint. The thing that we saw and that they saw was that the images started to all look alike. And that AI, could do a job, could get something past maybe someone who didn't know art or design, but a 10 minutes in AI could not give them something that would pass for one of their instructors. They ended up voting for it for these, and that's the one that ended up. One of our other projects, students had to follow political organizations, look at the imagery, and then create a picture in the prompts based on that. Give your final image a Creative Commons license. Again, students learned that AI was not as easy as they thought. They ended up with a prompt like this, but it took a long time for them to get it exactly to where they wanted it to be and where they could defend it. And I'm going to go quick too, because we're almost done. Digital sovereignty. Okay, how is the AI or the AI platform dealing with student data? And it goes a bit past FERPA, okay? Is it being used to train models? When you're thinking about this, think about data justice. Are you giving your students the chance to be visible, invisible? Are you giving them the chance to disengage with the technology? That's my union project. And are you using something that is is known to be discriminatory or anti-discriminatory? I'm throwing this up here. This is something that gets said a lot. If you are not paying for the product, you are the product. Okay? So when you get your students to use free things, have a discussion with them about whether they're okay with that. And I have no problem with students making a new Gmail account and using that rather than using what would be a personal account. I often tell them not to use their Front Range account when it comes to things. When it comes to algorithms, feel free to take a look at this book, Algorithms of Oppression. I'm sure your library has it, but the thing about it is AI is not necessarily getting trained on our historically underrepresented students. Good project if you want to take a look at it are data bodies, and they have a digital defense playbook that you can go. Feel free to Google our data bodies. Now, and then what we're trying to do, at least at my college, are to go towards, and this is in German, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm a German linguist. But Databewusstsein. And this is the best I could find. And what it translates out to be is critical consciousness of how your data is being used. And that's for us at my college where we want to try to get the students to. Okay, you are here. So that just tells me, okay, you're almost done. So what do you need to consider? We've gone over some of these. Cost of the tool. Okay, we're about there. I'm going to skip through that. Here's what I'm going to throw out at you. Okay, another consideration about integrating. This is what I found, and for me, it's I'm having some cognitive dissonance on this one. And if anybody, can explain it to me, feel free. I have people who are serious AI champions, not only at my college, at other colleges, at the University of Colorado. Okay. They are serious AI champions, yay. Okay. They're also the kind of people who are on climate action groups and stuff like that. For some reason, when you combine the AI champion and the climate action, it seems that the AI championship is like trumping the environmentalism. Okay? We have students who, not just for creative reasons, not just because they don't want their intellectual property put out there. We have students who have said, I don't want to use AI for environmental reasons. Okay. Guess what? They get another project on environmental AI and environmental impact. And they get to do the research and the presentations on this. And like I was saying, this is ending. This is ending it up, but I'm just not seeing people who are great AI champions also being able to balance being great climate champions. I'm not sure. Maybe that'll change soon. Okay. Just at the end of this, wanted to say the other thing we do is we have a podcast. It started out as Delulu is the Sulu. Um, yes, because we want to take a hopeful view of this, and Delulu means you know, like you're being delusional, and this came from the K-pop forums where somebody would say like, "Oh, he's my boyfriend, he's my husband," you know, and someone in those K-pop forums would go, "Oh, you're Delulu, right?" But it's come now to the point where being hopefully optimistic Delulu, you know, might be the solution to all these things. So we have that podcast, and within that overarching thing, we do an AI update like once a month. So feel free, see us there. This is me. You can get information other places, and this is always what I end presentations with. Keep the internet weird. This is not an AI hallucination. This is from the Electronic Frontier Foundation. And it's about, you know, not throttling the internet. So that's all I have. Questions? I'm more than happy to stay.
Anyone has any questions, feel free to unmute or put them in the chat. We'll do a minute or so. Yeah.
And I'm just going to put the link to the slides in the chat so you can go and grab things as you would want or need them.
I, of course, have another meeting to go to, but I wanted to say thank you. No, very informative. And I don't know. I'm like I don't know. What do you want to say? I'm dipping my toe in. There's just so much more to learn.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's funny sitting in the IR conference. I have a coworker she went the other way. Like, don't want to talk about it, don't want
Yeah.
to hear about it. And actually, it got me more invigorated. Like, what is this platform LMs?
Tanya,
Yeah,
extension 7512.
I was gonna say, yeah.
I'm here.
I wrote you down. I will get you your data, and then you will help me with AI. How about that?
Happy. Anytime.
Beautiful collaboration.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate everyone attendance. I have a faculty waiting.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. All right.
Okay.
Well,
But I was going to say, if anybody else has questions or anything like that, feel free.
Thank you, Kate.
Oh, Larry? Okay.
Good luck with the supply chain and AI. I think it's going to be fascinating to know how that field is going to look at it.
Yes.
Great. Well, if no one has any questions, thank you for coming. Kay, thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate your time, and you sharing your knowledge and expertise. And no one has any questions, then I think we are good to go. Thank you all very much. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to Kay and or Sarah, and we will try to connect you with the appropriate resources.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Heather.
Bye.